Switching gears quite a bit now, it is Battle of the Carolinas tonight in the Sweet 16 of the women's NCAA tournament. This is like the best night of the year for Tar Heel basketball.
The best night of the year. Did you hear that? Number 5 seed North Carolina taking on number 1 seed South Carolina. Chris Petersen joins us live from Greensboro now with more. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Christine. So while Lauren and John jet around the country following the men's tournament, I have the best assignment of them all. Right here in Greensboro, it's the women's Sweet 16, and the Lady Tar Heels are hoping to continue what's been an incredible season. North Carolina coach Courtney Banghart starts 4 sophomores. Despite their youth, this young team started the season 13-0 and finished 25-6 overall. A third-place finish in a stacked ACC that landed 6 teams into the big dance. Their opponent is the number 1 team in women's hoops. South Carolina comes into tonight's game with a 31-2 record, including 11 wins over top 25 teams. One fun fact that will have Tar Heel fans smiling is the University of North Carolina is one of only 3 schools to have a men's and women's team make the Sweet 16. Something these ladies are well aware of.
It's been known as like the men's basketball school for a while, so for them to see that, you know, the women's team is just as good and that we're both thriving and we've been thriving all season, I think that's huge for our university.
When coach was recruiting me the second time, she said, come on down to like college basketball heaven, and so she was right. It's college basketball heaven, 2 teams in the Sweet 16.
And you know Duke and NC State fans just cringe when you talk about UNC being college basketball heaven. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. in Greensboro. I'm Chris Petersen, WXII 12 Sports. Folks in this Greensboro neighborhood are cleaning up the mess after a quick but powerful storm whipped through here this afternoon.
There was a lot of rain, got really dark, and then a lot of wind. And we looked down, there was a bit of cracking sound.
Lyndon Rago said he was shocked to see the mess when he walked outside.
I realized that it was probably like a mini tornado that must have passed through here to bring everything down, and brought it down in all the same direction, all the trees down here.
Several large trees littered Rago's front and backyards, with one of them knocking down a power line. Fortunately, none of them landed on the house.
Just a little bit of leaves and branches, but it felt like everything fell away from the house onto the street, so that's lucky.
Other neighbors weren't so lucky. A tree fell on this car just down the street, and another blocked Holden Road in front of the neighborhood. Rago also has the good fortune of having a daughter in high school, and with nothing better to do on this stormy Sunday, her friends chipped in with the cleanup.
Many hands make light work, and it's always, I think, that when there is a mini kind of crisis or disaster of some sort, people are ready to help.
How nice it is to have high school students with nothing to do on a Sunday afternoon but help clean up. In Greensboro, I'm Chris Petersen, WXII 12 News. You may be mesmerized by Olympian Shaun White's acrobatics on the snowboard, or maybe Michaela Schifrin speeding downhill on the slopes, but they've got nothing on these Greensboro seniors.
Y'all ready to game?
The competition is fierce in the fitness room at Whitestone Senior Living Community. Folks go through a strenuous training regimen to prepare for these games.
So chair yoga is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and tone and balance on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we are physically fit.
Any kind of training at all?
Nah, every man for himself.
Well, maybe they're not training like Olympic athletes, but there is certainly top-level talent out here.
Oh, probably Sylvia back there.
Okay, all right. She pretty good?
Oh, yeah, she won both games in curling yesterday.
Along with your A game, you better be ready for some good-natured ribbing. Is there trash talking involved?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're calling each other names yesterday and patting each other on the back, and oh, yeah, it was fun.
And everyone is really determined.
Well, I think most of them came for the free food.
Whatever the motivation, fun activities have been difficult for folks here the last 2 years. The pandemic has kept residents in their homes and away from friends.
It's we've had to, scale back on some things, and we're starting to open up some things and have things where we can get together and then play, socially distanced, of course, and then have a lot of fun.
Time for laughter and fellowship that has been sorely missed.
So it's good to have some return to activities is not quite normal yet, but we're working on it.
We're all just tied up in our apartments, so we don't really get to see each other and no communication. So yeah, this is a good way to have some fellowship and kind of get back to normal. Yeah.
It wasn't the thrill of victory, but the thrill of a community coming together for food and fun. Of course, Sylvia won the tournament. No gold medal for her effort, but a hug from hubby, well, that's more precious than gold. In Greensboro, I'm Chris Petersen, WXII 12 News. It wasn't the usual full day of activities due to COVID restrictions just being lifted 2 weeks ago, but folks here in Thomasville gathered in a very moving ceremony to honor their fallen heroes. Beneath the sound of a lone bagpipe, dozens gathered at Veterans Point to reflect and remember the lives of those who sacrificed so much.
They gave up their life, for our country. And it's just amazing just how Thomasville observes them. And I'm just proud to be here today.
95-year young World War II veteran Chris Lingerfelt laid a wreath at today's event. Lingerfelt was a gunner on a B-29 bomber that flew 13 combat missions in the Pacific Theater. He's here to honor those who weren't as fortunate as he was.
Gratitude toward them. I was lucky and came back. There's a lot did not come back.
In addition to the ceremony, folks had an opportunity to read about the 233 men and women from Davidson County who died in service to our country from World War I to Afghanistan. The display was lovingly put together by local historian Jim Little.
They mean so much to me, and they should mean a lot to everybody.
Little has spent countless hours researching the stories of these fallen heroes, from the first soldier, Oliver Thomason, who died in World War I, to our most recent fallen hero, Joshua Harris of Lexington, a Navy SEAL who died in Afghanistan October 30th of 2008.
That's the purpose of this whole thing, is just having people, having these faces on these banners, so there'll be people to them. They are people. They're not just statistics. They are somebody.
And as taps played ending today's ceremony, organizers hope folks young and old will understand the true meaning of this holiday.
Oftentimes we think of Memorial Day, we think of the beach and hamburgers. And yes, it's great that we can go to the beach, and it's great that we can have hamburgers. But it's because of the sacrifices of the military throughout the years, especially those that gave their lives for our freedoms.
The Memorial Day Committee is hopeful that next year the parade, the skydiving, the hot dogs will all return in what will be the city's 36th annual Memorial Day celebration. In Thomasville, I'm Chris Petersen, WXII 12 News. That Arctic blast of cold air that's coming to the Triad may not bring us a white Christmas, but it's a winter wonderland up here in the high country. There's no snow on the ground yet in the Triad, but head west about 2 hours and it's another story.
It's a totally different world when you get into the town of Beech Mountain. It truly is a winter wonderland.
Folks of all skill levels are enjoying the snow and the cold conditions.
Okay, pizza, you good?
Even first-timers like Hannah are having a good time and getting great advice from her friends.
It's all downhill from here.
Talia Freeman is the marketing director at Beech Mountain Resort. She tells me this is the mountain's busiest time of the year.
It's our busiest 2 weeks of the year. People are here skiing, snowboarding, tubing, and a lot of people just kind of come for the full experience. In the village we're standing in, we have Christmas decorations and Christmas music and lights, and the atmosphere is just really nice.
10 of Beech's 17 slopes are open, but with temperatures expected to reach the single digits and snow in the forecast, they expect the entire mountain to be open this weekend.
So we don't have any black diamonds open yet, but I think with the cold temperatures that we're about to receive, it should be no time before we get all the slopes open.
For snow lovers in the Triad, it may be the only way you have a white Christmas.
This week we've been able to make lots of snow and customers are here and it's busy and we're excited.
And with the possibility of snow in the forecast up here, the conditions should be great for skiing this holiday week. In Beech Mountain, I'm Chris Petersen, WXII 12 News.